Alright, so we're going to look at some two-step equation examples. Honestly, I'm just going to go through a few examples and we'll see some different stuff. So let's go. I honestly don't just try to watch it all at once. I would try to stop it where you need to stop it, or if I say something weird, maybe make a timestamp or a comment and I will respond to it. So this is a pretty general situation you're going to see. You're going to have a variable, something happening to it. Here we've got an x being divided by 3. So remember, when we see a fraction, it's still dividing. And we've got minus 4 here, equal to 2. Normal equation. It's got to do the same thing to both sides. Still, our same goal is to get the variable by itself. Variable being our letter, our term that we don't know, any number. So here it's x by itself. This is our end goal. You know, like when you play Mario, and then you can see Donkey Kong all the way at the top. This is where we're trying to get to. I don't know, I drew arrows on that, but that's what I did. Okay, so first thing, just gonna stop wasting time, move my furthest term. So I'm gonna do the opposite of the furthest term. On the side with the variable. So here, what's further away? This divided by 3 or the negative 4? Ask yourself, what do you think? So yeah, here, negative 4 is further away. These are attached. Whenever you have one attached, like multiplication or division, you're going to do that one second. So here I'm going to do the opposite of negative 4 to both sides. Add 4. And then what do I have left here? I still have x divided by 3. I'll add my other side and get a nice 6. And then it's a one-step equation. So how am I going to clean that out? I'm going to do the opposite of the last term operating on the variable. I'm like writing it out in as many words as possible. Ideally, you know, you can write it in your own words, or you'll see it once and write it one way, and then eventually you'll be able to get it into words that make more sense to you or are more applicable to you, or you'll get better at using words that I'm using. I don't, you know, it's all a flexible thing. So here we're dividing by 3. So what do we have to do? Just like here, we added 4 to both sides. Now we're going to multiply by 3 to both sides. So remember, parentheses representing multiplication. And then I'm going to write on top bottom, just like I'm canceling it like a fraction. Kabam. 6 times 3, 18. One example. Okay, pause it if you need to, but I'm going to go to the next example. Oh yeah, what the heck, I like drew this whole thing over here and then I didn't even make it go here. Easy. Alright, so let's look at another example that might be a little bit different. So here we're going to have a square root with an x plus 2. And I forgot to change the color, so it's still red, but that doesn't mean anything. That's just fine. Totally fine. Alright, and we're going to have a negative 7 here. So let's think about what's going on here. First, let's just read it. I'm going to read it out in words. I've got the square root of x plus 2 is equal to negative 7. So now in my head, what am I thinking? I'm thinking, what's furthest away? Furthest away. And this one's a little harder to see. What am I choosing between? I'm choosing between the two things happening on the left side. So let's think, what are the two things happening on the left side? We've got this guy here, and then we've got this thing here. So I guess it's not really just the 2, it's this plus 2. So what's further away, plus 2 or square root? So since the x and the 2 are inside the root together, This is furthest away. If it was written similarly, like square root of x plus 2, now the plus 2 is further away. But if it's all under the same root together, the plus 2 is closer. And this is just like the way I speak about it. So the opposite of the furthest away thing, square root, is going to be power of 2 to both sides. Bam-a-lam. And if you remember how it cancels out, it still just cancels out kind of weird, but I'm just going to like scribble that thingy out. This is really negative 7 times negative 7, so I don't want to leave that negative out in front. Canceled out my root. Still have x plus 2. So just like when you cancel out the root, whatever is inside is what's left over. Negative times a negative is going to give me a positive, and make sure you don't do a 49, or make sure you don't do a 14. Don't do times 2. Make sure you do times itself. Now I could do my second thing away, which was plus 2. And the opposite of that is minus 2. Boom, 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 boom. Hiya! 49 minus 2. Yeah. Alright. And for this one, I'm gonna draw a little skateboard. And this is Mr. Feldman. You know, if he had small muscles. This is Mr. Feldman. And then he's gonna get a little rocket booster. Hold on, let me switch this up. Little rocket booster. Oops. It's supposed to be like a little thing for him to skate on, but instead it just went, but never mind. Alright, this was a disaster. Goodbye.